this is Emma from the University of ADHD Podcast. Having a bit of a switch around today. Today I'm going to be giving 10 tips for getting a dissertation done with ADHD. I'm going to start off then. The first tip number one, is start early. And I cannot emphasise this enough. I've made this mistake so many times on my undergrad degree, doing my master's degree, where I'd maybe start a little few bits here and there, but then end up having a rush of many nights of all-nighters, which is absolutely tiring and it's just not sustainable. So really do start early and get consistent. It minimises stress by getting started on your dissertation as early as possible, but it also gives you time to plan, research and write, ensuring that you're not rushing to meet tight deadlines. Tip number 2 then is to establish a routine. Create a consistent work routine that suits your preferences. So you've got to make it work for you. And it also maximises your productivity. So we all have golden times of the day when we're most productive. Some people can jump out of bed first thing in the morning. That's definitely not me. And they're ready to go and be productive, whereas other people start to get the energy and the focus later on in the day, maybe the afternoon, or it could be that you're a night owl, evenings are your best time to do your work. So it's figuring out what's the best time for you to be able to focus, and then once you've identified that, dedicate blocks of time to work on your dissertation in these times when you're most productive, and make sure these blocks of time are regular, so you're not just doing a one-off session and then leaving it for months on end. You're regularly working on it each week or maybe a couple of times a week. So make sure you're setting reminders to remind you of your study time. This is called time blocking, where you're actually blocking that time out and you're not letting any other commitments or anything else encroach on this time. Also, in order to kick the ADHD focus on, what you need to do is create a sense of urgency for each session. So you've got certain goals that you've got to get for each session. You can do things like set timers, set little challenges. So you're giving yourself that sense of urgency, but also trying to gamify it so it's keeping your dopamine going. So little challenges and games that you can try. For example, I've got to do so much within 5 minutes. Or one technique that you could use is having a tick list and then ticking it off so that you're getting that sense of achievement. Tip number 3 is to break it down. Breaking your dissertation down into smaller, manageable tasks makes the process less overwhelming. Divide the dissertation into chapters, sections, or even paragraphs. So paragraph 1, I'm going to talk about this. Working on one task at a time and tracking your progress. It's focusing your attention on that one paragraph. I've got to get this sorted today, rather than just looking at the thing as a whole and getting confused and going from one thing to another without actually finishing anything. Make sure that you track your progress, but that you create a plan for it as well. And once you've created that plan, you're then working on filling in the gaps. Tip number 4 is to set realistic goals. Avoid setting unrealistic expectations for yourself. Set realistic daily or weekly goals that are achievable, but they've got to align with your available time and resources. If you know that you work so many hours a week, you've got this commitment, that commitment, you can't just magic time that doesn't exist out of the air. You've got to make sure that it's realistic and it's fitting in with your schedule. Create to-do lists and again, tick things off as you do them to give you those little dopamine hits, and make sure you celebrate the small wins along the way, because that will keep you motivated. And it's better to do this rather than just reward yourself at the end. Tip number 5 is seek support. Don't hesitate to reach out for support when you need to. Make sure you go to your advisor or tutors or lecturers, whoever, and ask them for feedback. You can go to them and say, "This is my draft, what do you think?" Also, you can seek guidance from other people on your course or online communities. Connecting with other people who are going through a similar experience can provide you with both practical advice and emotional support as well. They're going through exactly the same thing. It can be really good to touch base with them. Also, never underestimate the subject librarian. When I was doing my psychology masters, I approached mine for the first time during the dissertation, and she was so helpful. I wished that I'd consulted the subject librarian all the way through my time at university on my undergrad and other diplomas that I've done, because I might have found the whole thing a lot more easier. Tip number 6, take breaks. It's essential to incorporate regular breaks into your work schedule. Stepping away from your dissertation for short periods can help refresh your mind, improve your focus, and prevent burnout. So use these breaks to engage in activities that you enjoy, such as exercise, reading, gaming, or spending time with your friends and family. Make sure you add these breaks into your schedule as well. These are just as important as the work blocks in your schedule. And see these as non-negotiable. So you're not going to go, oh, do you know what? I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do more work rather than have that break. Keep a track on time, though, because if you spend time on a break, you run the risk of spending too much time on that break. You can set alarms and notifications to do this. Number 7, prioritise self-care during your dissertation journey. Make sure that you get enough sleep, you're maintaining a healthy diet and exercise regularly. Engaging in activities that help you to relax and recharge will actually increase your productivity, and it'll also improve your overall well-being. Practicing mindfulness each day can really help with this. Tip number 8, manage procrastination. Procrastination contributes to increased stress levels. Be mindful of your tendencies to procrastinate and develop strategies to overcome it. So you can do this by setting specific deadlines for each task and creating a sense of urgency about completing them on time. Use time management techniques like the Pomodoro technique and eliminate distractions to stay focused and on track. Tip number 9, stay organised. Develop an organisational system that works for you. Keep your research materials, notes, and drafts organised and together using folders, digital tools, or project management software. Having a well-structured system will save you lots of time and reduce the stress when you need to locate everything. Post-it notes, tabs, and dividers can help with this. And tip number 10, celebrate progress. Acknowledge and celebrate each milestone that you've achieved during this journey. Recognise your growth as a researcher and a writer, and take moments to appreciate the progress that you've made. Rewarding yourself along the way gives you hits of dopamine, boosts your motivation, and keeps you engaged in the dissertation process. So, a kind of reward that you could give yourself could be, if I finish such a task by such a time, I get an hour on the PlayStation. Or if I do all of my weekly tasks, I get to go to the cinema. By following these 10 tips, it should hopefully make your dissertation easier. If you need any help, go to rethink-adhd.co.uk to book a 20-minute call to see if I can help, and that's completely free. So good luck, and you can do it. Tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at executive function and how you can overcome the problems that executive function in ADHD brings. I'll see you tomorrow.